Good morning. We've come over to the Glasshouse Heritage Centre in Stourbridge, and it's recognised by that huge chimney, and this is the building. And I've brought Mrs H with me, and we're going to go in there and see Graeme's exhibition, so stick with us. Lots of glass, and oh look, you can see it. How cool is that? And we'll see what's going on inside. So let's just... So we're in the visitor centre, and we've got to go past all this lot. So this is a seriously cool place. Some fabulous glassware, and this huge thing here is where they did all the glass blowing, past all the serious heritage stuff. There's lots going down here. And let's just work our way through here and in to see Graeme. Here's Graeme. Here's Graeme now. And here's Graeme. Hi Graeme, how you doing?
Hi Jamie.
How are we doing?
Yeah, we're doing well. All looking good in here.
Looks nice, doesn't it?
So this
Take us through it.
Yeah, so this is where the project started. And this series of work is called Utilise. And this is as much about the preservation of that traditional industry that we're kind of starting to lose now. And so these pieces, the insides of them are cut by the Red House glass crafts, which were the traditional Stuart's cutters.
And this is Richard on site at the Glass Centre.
That's Richard and Nick.
Yeah.
They did the cutting.
Which is great, and their stuff goes all over the world, goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Repair all sorts.
Yes.
They're almost irreplaceable, aren't they?
Well, that's right. I mean, today they're some of the only people that can do the Stuarts and the Webb Corbett cuts, the traditional cuts. Okay. And because we're in the Webb Corbett factory, which we're in the mould room, which was underneath the furnace.
Yes, there's a furnace here, and there's another one over there, isn't it? We've just walked past that one, so we've seen that one. So there's another one here. These things are huge. They're absolutely huge. So you need to come to this place and see not just Graeme's exhibition, but see everything else that's going on. So take us through one of these pieces. Which one should we look at? I've just had a look at these. What's this?
And so inside is the traditional jug with its cut. Oh, wow. And then so what I've done is it's all solid glass. So what I've done is I've picked it up and then covered it in clear glass and then dropped it into a cup of blue glass. Yeah. And then put a contemporary cut on the outside.
Looks cool.
And so it's that marriage of traditional and contemporary. I mean, what the pieces are really about, that idea of traditional cutting in a contemporary context. Yeah. And so how and showing their relevance.
And encasing a piece of traditional cut glass, I've not seen it before.
No. Is it? Well, I've not seen it before either.
Right. Okay. I've got to say, this one stands out like. I mean, it's that colour. So what was this, and what colours have we got?
So this was a tumbler, and this was a Webb Corbett design.
Right. So okay. So it's in modern glass, encased in the same modern glass as well.
Yeah. Okay. So and so it's.
Oh, good grief!
It's encased in the middle.
Oh, good grief!
And like I said previously, we do.
That's beautiful.
I do that. I lens both the bottom and the top, and so that cutting on the bottom, which is so beautiful. Yeah. That's hidden on a great deal of these pieces.
So are they making it like a traditional tumbler? Are you distorting that tumbler before you're just encasing it?
Not distorting it. So what I do is I use a thick piece of glass, and I put a case of blue glass on the outside.
Yeah.
And then that's cut, and then I put it back into a top loading kiln and heat that up, and then pick it up and case it in the glass. So it's that idea of preservation.
Yeah. This is fun.
And I've always been so impressed with the skills of these guys. When one of the things that led me to this project was in the Midlands, there was so much, in the West Midlands, there was so much blowing and cutting that it became commonplace. And you can now go into a charity shop and buy a piece of hand-blown, hand-cut, real high craft work for £2 or £3.
You know what?
That's astounding.
It amazes me.
Yeah.
It amazes me. And you can look on, you can find something and you can see, and you're exactly right. You can see it on eBay in this area. If you just search this area on eBay glass, you find thousands of pieces that if it was 50 miles away, 60 miles away, it'll be 10 times the price.
Yeah.
Which is,
yeah.
But the skills are here.
Yeah.
And those guys that were here, that did that all those years ago, they had so much glass.
Yeah.
That it was just common.
Yeah,
just commonplace.
It became commonplace.
This is wonderful. So this little collection here looks.
And so this was my brighter collection, and this is my favourite cut.
Oh, okay. Let's see your favourite.
This is called the Russian cut, and that was cut by Nick up at Glass Crafts.
Wow, that's there's a lot going on in there, isn't
there? I mean they're fabulous. It's a fabulous cut. I love it. And so again, that's the idea of preservation.
And then you put a lens on the top, and by lens, it's like a scoop, isn't it? It's a concave cut, which is all polished up. And I mean, if my phone will take it, I love zooming in on this stuff and seeing. And I've taken pictures on my Instagram of glassware just like this, because I just love the way all those cuts bring the light in, and it just goes mad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's picking up on every little bit of colour around it. Yeah. So if we look at this one for a second, and can we see any of the greeny blue next to it? There are tints a little bit on the side of the one sitting next to it.
Yeah.
Which is
so this jug it's the same decoration inside as it is outside.
Oh, right, okay.
And these are the 5-fan cuts. And this was a traditional cut, and then I've put a lens and a flat in the top so that you can see down.
Oh, let's have a look. Good grief! Okay, I love this one.
Yeah. Now.
Wow, look at that. My phone's doing a good job.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's great.
The actual jugs were made by a guy called James Devereux. Who, because these are so heavy.
I mean, that is all solid glass, isn't it? So how many kilos are we talking there, do you think?
Well, probably 4 or 5 kilos, I would say, per piece. But also, I got him to do it because he puts handles on so beautifully.
Right.
But the handle is relative to the size inside, not the size outside. So as you can see,
brilliant.
if they were practical jugs, they would be far too small for this scale.
Graeme, that's beautiful.
But they're relative to the inside jug.
You chuffed with that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be. It looks great.
I'm
That's
really pleased.
That for me is the wow when you look over the top and look inside.
Yeah.
It's just, let's have a look at the bottom.
Yeah, and so the bottom's beautifully cut.
Graeme, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
So then...
Right, where should we go next?
We moved from here, but it's still the Utilise series, but we've now gone towards that marriage of traditional and contemporary, leaning far more to a functional piece. And these are they're more about the marriage of the two, of the contemporary and the traditional.
Yeah.
And some of the I was quite surprised after I'd made it. I never I never really expected it would be this good.
When did you make this? How long ago?
So that was made down at Devereux and Huskies, and that was probably a month ago.
Oh, okay. Okay, and this one stands out. This one's...
Yeah, I wanted to put...
I love those lines. You can see the tradition in... So for me, you're standing back here and you see a contemporary piece of glass.
Yeah.
And then as you get closer, because I know a little bit about glass, as you get closer, you can see the cuts and you can see the history behind the contemporary, which is just... and your colours are... Oh, so, go on.
Yeah, and so with this one, I wanted to not only contrast the actual decoration, but the lines as well. Yeah. I wanted to cut across it and start looking at how it moved the lines, and I quite like the fact that it's quite art deco.
It is, isn't it?
Kind of in a way. So
it is, isn't it? I love the. That's looking good. Wow! And you've got a hole inside this one. You've got so it's a proper
inside. Yeah, so
proper vase.
It's proper function.
Wow! They look great. Okay, so this is decorate, Graeme.
Yeah. So what I was trying to show here was how traditional cutting complements traditional contemporary forms.
Yeah.
So we started off with this, and this is a Stuart's cut, traditional Stuart's cut, and as you can see, I've done it on a bowl that's quite contemporary in terms of its colour combinations. Nothing like this was used in the traditional industry. So, and then we start moving on to really quite contemporary cuts, which are a bit more.
Can I just stop you a sec? I mean, look at this.
Yeah, there's great.
Right,
watch this.
Go on.
And see the spiral as well inside.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's cool. Look, I mean, just look at that colour.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Are there any, I've got to ask, are there any prices on these things?
I've got prices for them.
Okay. So if people are interested, Graeme, I'll put a link to Graeme's website or email or whatever underneath this. And if anybody sees anything or whatever, Graeme will be sharing this. I think a lot of people around here will probably share this once Graeme and I are sharing it. Ruskin Glass Centre and some of the artists around. And then, if you see anything you like, I think it's a case of getting early. Don't see any red dots on anything yet. Yes. But it'll happen. Right, what's this one?
And so this is quite, again, it's a contemporary palette with a more contemporary cut, which is, they're called olives, but basically they're lens cuts, which are put on quite randomly. The difference between traditional and contemporary, the traditional cuts were very strategic, and they were very organised and methodical the way they worked. However, the more contemporary work is a lot less specific.
I love that. Mind you, I'm sorry. So go on, because so when you see these, so this little collection here is what 2, 4, 6, 7 pieces, and this one is Graeme, you walk around it, and a piece that you've just looked at and thought, oh, that's nice. You walk around it, and then you see it from another angle, and I've just seen this one from this angle, and the colours in there are just, they're pretty cool, aren't they? So then that's great.
Yeah.
I love the randomness of the external cuts and the. So what I'm looking at there is an external cut, and what I'm looking at in there is the result of the external cut.
Yes,
right,
definitely. Okay. So I've cut through the black to expose the colours inside.
Gotcha. Blimey.
And this series of work, one of the things about it is to show how traditional cutting has influenced contemporary decoration.
Yeah.
And this was to show how relevant it still is in this.
And this is the thing. This is what I mean as a woodworker. This is what I do as well. I have to use traditional methods to create something modern, and the mix of the two is what makes your craft. It brings it more alive to you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, because we can't do what the old guys used to do at the rate they used to do it. So the people that made glasses were making glasses hundreds a day.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I could keep up with some of what the woodworkers did. But to be able to touch on some of those pieces and bring your spin to it is just wonderful, isn't it? So take us through this one, because this looks like somebody's had a right go at it.
Yes. Well, and that was the intention with this. It's starting to show how the decoration can influence the form, can become quite an integral part of the form.
So this started as a complete bowl looking like that.
Yeah.
Black on the outside, a coloured bowl. A coloured bowl with these multiple colours, blacks over the top.
Yeah.
And then you went a bit nuts with it.
Yeah. So initially, all you could see was it was a black bowl.
Yeah.
Until you start cutting it and starting to bring it to life.
Wow. I mean, this one's seriously cool, isn't it? Yeah, I'm liking this one. I'm loving that one. Lynn, we've got to find a favourite. So Mrs. H is over there. Love that one. This is. Go on then. So this is.
So this is again a contemporary cut. I haven't found any cuts like this in the traditional era.
You're doing to glass what I do to wood on some pieces, where I carve a texture on the outside.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've done a Windsor chair with a fully textured seat, and actually, if it sat next to this, it would make sense.
Yeah.
So this is great. Some heavy cuts on there. And have you done this cutting?
Yeah.
And have you got your own cold shop?
Yeah, that's right. I've got my my own cold workshop.
Yeah.
With all my lathes and flatbeds and whatever.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's what I kind of specialise in is using that contemporary decoration as really an integral part of my range of work.
So, what's going on with these two? Because there's quite a difference between these two. That one's quite dusky, this one's incredibly shiny, and it looks like you've overlaid a colour of white over all the cuts.
That's right. So what I've done is I've overlaid the white over, there's a red, an orange and a gold in here.
Wow.
And then I've cut it using a traditional pattern that was a Stuart's pattern.
And was it quite small then? Because I'm looking at this. This is about 9 inches tall.
It was kind of the size of a goose egg.
Oh, okay.
And then we put that back into the top loading kiln, reheat that, and pick that up about 550 degrees, and then case it, a couple of cases of clear glass on the outside of it, so it magnifies what I've done. And then I cut these lenses in it just to start to change the angles and change the perspective.
Well, it's a cracking one. I like it. Shouldn't say cracking with glass, should I? Somebody's told me I shouldn't say cracking. I think it was Vic that's probably told me I shouldn't say cracking. Yeah. And this one is a similar vein, I suppose.
Yeah, I've done a similar thing, but what I've done is I've cut it in a Batuto style, and then just polished the high spots. So I've left all the middles of the olives in a matte, which I really quite like. But again, it changes the perspective. It changes the direction of the pattern.
It does, doesn't it? There's something I quite like that. It's sort of out of focus, and you sort of move around and get back into focus again when you're seeing the polish through the polish bit.
Yeah.
You said olives.
Well, that's what they call them. That's what the cutters call it.
Right. Is this a black country thing?
They call these olives. It may be, or it may be just a factory thing.
It sounds so black country. So yeah, I'm with that. Okay, these are brilliant. I've got to find somehow. We've got to. What I'll do is I'll carry on with this video. I'll carry on doing this. But the really hard, tough thing to do is we're going to have to take a photo after for thumbnail. So I don't know how we're going to do that, but we'll sort that out in a bit because this is. I love that table over there. I love this table here. So right, where now?
Right. So then these move on again.
Okay. Now I've just got to get the scale of these. That tall one in the middle is about 1200 mil tall. 4 foot?
Yeah, it's probably, but 3.5 to 4 foot, yeah.
Wow, okay. So what are these?
Yeah. So these are, these again, these are called Evolve.
Okay.
And so these are about moving away from function now, becoming purely sculptural forms. But again, using this idea of the cut patterns,
yes,
and the different cuts to see how they stretch and how they decorate these more sculptural forms.
And we can see that here. I mean, these are great. I love this. I love the way you've crikey, Graeme. Blimey. Okay.
Yeah, so these were
wow.
These were inspired by a sculptor called Constantine Brancusi, who did a piece of work called Bird in Space, which wasn't about the bird, it was about the bird's flight. And so my initial idea was to look at the industry and to show how abundant it initially was, and then it's now tapering out. But as I was doing it, I just started to enjoy the forms so much that it's as much about the actual material and the form itself as the concept.
Oh, look at the colours in that one. Everywhere you look, there's something else, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's something else going on. Let's just have a look at those. They're brilliant. Can you stand by the side of those? Because I don't think people will get just how. Yeah, they're. Okay.
Yeah.
They're tall.
And so this is on the same theme. These are bigger, and these were done again at Devereux and Huskies down in Wiltshire, because they've got the facilities down there to make these this scale. Wow. But again, it looks at this decoration and how it's applied, and so it's traditional decoration alongside, again, quite current colours.
I love the green, the yellow, and the blue in there, and that one is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And all these lines going down are either cuts. Well, they are cuts, aren't they?
Yeah, they are cuts. Yeah.
Wow, I love this. I love this transition here. This is beautiful. That is just crikey. Love it. Absolutely love it. I'm in the shadow there. That's better.
So this is the point that I've got to. But I don't see this project as being finished. When I first started it, I thought I would cover all of the West Midlands glass industry, but I realised what a vast animal it actually was, and there's so much history in this part of England that I could only concentrate on 2 of the factories.
Yeah.
So it was such a small amount of this pocket of history that I could cover. But I'd like to go further, and I'd like to explore other factories, other cutting, and also, because we're in the mould room, there's hundreds of moulds behind these walls.
Yes, and I've seen them.
Yes.
So
and I would like to explore using those in a very similar idea.
I think that sounds great. Lynn and I came to the biennial exhibit that's on here. What's it called? Biennale.
Biennale. Yeah.
And we came to one of the champagne nights, and we got some champagne glasses that were the test champagne glasses that just went. And I think they got something like 900 of them.
Right.
And you bought a glass and had a glass of champagne, and that was your glass to keep.
Yeah, fabulous.
And that's just, and it's treasured.
Yeah,
So we've got a couple of those. But yes. If the thing is, the tools are a big part of the story.
Yeah.
So ones that I think if you can use some of the patterns or tools or something and put a contemporary spin on it, makes total sense. I love it. So right. So we're going to stop now, and Graeme, I love it. I think you've done a splendid job. I love those over there. I'm glad we finished on those because, okay, but I love those as well. And then when you start, so wonderful. Right, okay. I'm gonna come back in a minute. We're gonna have another quick chat, and then we're gonna have to choose some sort of thumbnail for this that I can share on YouTube, and people can see Graeme. So I think Graeme needs to be in the shot. But anyhow, come back in a sec. Still love that one. Love these. Right, Graeme. So yeah, this is it. I'm going to pause that there, and that will be our thumbnail, which is right at the end of our video. So Graeme, thank you for taking us round.
Marvellous.
It's lovely. I love it.
Thanks a lot.
Didn't realise you were doing all of this.
Yeah.
So when did the exhibition start?
Last Wednesday.
And it's on until
the end of the month, to the 30th.
The 30th, okay. Right, so if you can get down here and see Graeme's wonderful glass, there's the visitor centre, there's the Ruskin Glass Centre, there's the guys in the workshops who aren't really open to the public, but you could see where the workshops where a lot of this is done as well.
Yeah, there's the Stourbridge glass blowing workshops open to the public.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, the blowing is,
Yeah,
but the cold shop isn't. So yes, they can watch blowing and.
Yeah.
Right, Graeme, thank you very much, and we'll catch up very soon. Okay, so we were just on our way out, and then Graeme said something, so we've got to capture this, and it'll tag on the end. So what's this, Graeme?
So this is Nick Gritton's apprentice bowl. Nick is the cutter that did all the specialist cutting in this series of work. The
Stuart Crystal.
Yeah.
Stuart Crystal?
Yeah, there was the Stuart's pattern, but he also did the Webb Corbett patterns for me as well. And this is his apprentice piece.
Wow.
So that means he had to do a bowl after his apprenticeship, and this is what he came up with.
There's some detail in that, isn't there?
Absolutely beautiful piece. And then these two pieces. At the bottom, I bought the far one's mine. I bought that in a charity shop for £1.50.
What?
And that's my favourite Webb Corbett pattern, and that was the pattern that was used in the two pieces. The second part of the utilitised.
It just shows, doesn't it? It just shows. £1.50.
Yeah.
It just shows. And the skill and the craftsmanship in that.
Yeah, just beautiful.
And that's the simplicity of things like, and you think it's similar, for me, I think similar to the potteries, and think of Clarice Cliff and Susie Cooper, the girls that were there, and they were painting with the brushes and with brush strokes, those simple, quick strokes.
Yeah.
And these guys were most likely on piecework doing all of this.
That's right, yeah.
And they were just got to knock it out as quick as possible.
Yeah. Which
is pretty amazing, really. And this and the decanter.
Yeah.
It is. And the decanter.
This is it's a Webb Corbett decanter.
Yeah.
That was borrowed from the Red House Glass Crafts.
Well, it's
Richard Lamming, who runs Red House Glass Crafts, he lent me it for this exhibition.
It's beautiful. Well, I love it. So this is what's encased in some of that contemporary colour, which is just, Graeme, I love it. It's fab. It's fab. You're going to do really well out of this. So wish you all the luck. It's yeah, just keep doing it because it's fab. Okay, right, we'll go. Catch you soon. Bye.